From Hollywood to your hood, public breakdowns are everywhere. But what if we turn gossip into growth? On Allegedly, we react to the wildest viral stories, celebs spiraling, influencers breaking down, and infamous moments you can't unsee. But we don't just watch, we work. We break it down, do the self-work, and find the breakthrough hiding in their mistakes. New episodes drop every Monday on YouTube at My Coach Ministry, because your healing might just begin with someone else's headline. Allegedly, where the breakdown is the beginning of your breakthrough.
We do that. Okay. All right. It's now time to get into our allegedly segment, allegedly. Allegedly. All right. Hang on here. Oh, let's not cause anything to be harmed to go out of place. Okay, so it's now time for allegedly. It is my hope that you are being entertained so far. I hope you're being entertained. I hope you have been entertained so far, informed. I hope you feel relaxed, and I hope that you're also being inspired and especially empowered. All right, it's now time for us to go into our allegedly segment. And right before we go in, please remember that this segment really is where we observe people's stories. I have a monologue or a talk about personal stories, and really transform gossip into growth. We learn from their stories and their experiences and their breakdowns to do our self-work so we can experience breakthroughs. So come along with me with an open mind, open heart. Be ready to be disrupted. Be ready to challenge yourself. Because growth is important. We need to grow. And let us not just get stuck into talking their story without getting some benefit from exploring their experiences. So I want you to think of it as exploring their experiences, their breakdowns, so we can be inspired to do our own self-work. So it is my hope that as I go through these stories and these clips, that you will be inspired to do your self-work, just as I'm seeking to be inspired to do my self-work, so together we can experience breakthroughs. Okay, so let's go through reading the copyright disclaimer, because we are not seeking to infringe, but there's a purpose that we're using this for, and we're using it under fair use. So copyright disclaimer: under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. We're not seeking to infringe on people's content, but we just want to be inspired by their content. And so I have a couple of clips today. I'm going to be going through some clips from TikTok that I just want to react.
I feel sorry for you.
Hang on there. Hang on. So we have some clips. As I was saying, hold a second. Right. So as I was saying, so today we have some clips. I have some clips here from TikTok that we'll be reacting to TikTok, a collection of, or a select few of videos from TikTok. So this is courtesy of TikTok and the respective creators. And as again, we're not seeking to infringe, so we use this under fair use. We're going to be reacting to what they're saying. They're not all related. They're just different clips that, like I said, in this segment, I always talk about the things that touch my heart, and the things that when I listen to them, I see the opportunity for inspiration and empowerment, where these stories can really trigger us to do some self-work so we can experience breakthroughs. So that is why we're doing this with meaning and purpose. We're exploring breakdowns for self-work, for breakthroughs. All right, so from gossip to growth. That's what we're doing. That's what we're here for. So I just want to thank everyone in this story, everyone that's mentioned. I don't know everyone's name, all the names, so I'm not going to call any. So I'm just going to say thank you to every single creator whose videos will be used today, will be used today. Thank you to the creators. Thank you to TikTok and the creators of TikTok and the users of TikTok. Thank you to everyone whose story will be of benefit to us today. Let's go. Let's begin. So the first video that I have here is one from Candy Burris, yes. So let's go from the beginning.
If you want somebody to feel sorry for you, I'm not that friend. I done been through a lot of things that I had to push through. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for certain things, you know what I mean? Like even when people be like, oh, I worked today, I'm so tired, I didn't get no rest, and my mind, I'm like, okay, that's what we do. Come on, I don't feel sorry for you, let's go. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that friend. You need a woe is me friend. I'm not a woe is me friend, because I feel like you can get through anything. Yeah. And I always tell people, it's like, it can't rain forever.
Wow, that what she ended on, it cannot rain forever. You know, I selected this clip because as I was listening to this clip, it reminded me of my own life. That really is the kind of person I am and the kind of person I want to be. I believe you have some persons who are blessed with the gift of counseling and therapy, where you go through the trauma and you explore the trauma and you dig up the trauma and you go through the trauma. Me, on the other hand, I'm a coach. I want to get past that trauma. Can we get past that trauma? Can we set some goals to decide where we're going? So for me, and you know, God bless the persons who spend their hearts loving me, because I don't know if it's challenging for them, and for some it might be, for some it has been or have been, because they're persons who, you know, have expressed sometimes that I may not be as patient as they probably want me to be, but this is it, right? Like she said, this is what we do. Life is not a fantasy island. Life is not a bed of roses. Life, you cannot be, do not put yourself in a position to be shocked because life has happened to you. I just think that's a terrible place to be. You want to position yourself in a spot where you are as ready as you can be for what's coming at you, you know. And that's why I started out this podcast by saying, God, I need you to change me. That is the reason I logged on watching accidents. I was trying to disrupt my own thing that I was going through, this because I do not accept this thing called boredom. I'm bored. What do you mean I'm bored? Get up and do something. Get up and find something to do. Create something. So that's the reason for me I struggle with that word friend, because what does it mean? What's the goal here? How am I impacting your life? If I'm not impacting your life, why am I in a positive way? Why am I here? Why am I in your life? I'm not just here to hang out, no, and I'm not just here for lamentations, no. So if you come to me and struggle with something, I'm going to listen. As a matter of fact, for me, I give someone 3 occurrences. You have 3 times to tell me the same story. You have 3 times to tell me the same story. After the 3rd time, please find somebody else. I'm not the one. If you're gonna tell me this, tell me you have a challenge that I do not have. There's no requests for me to support, to add or to help you come up with some action for solution. If you don't need my support, a collaboration with me, or some kind of input, or some kind of, well, if, like I said, I will listen up to 3 times, and I will just listen, because these days I've been learning to listen, right? But after 3 occurrences, I cannot listen anymore to the same story, not to the same story. Solution time. Get up. This is what we do. This is life. And I'm telling you, like I said, when I was watching those accident videos, all I saw were miracles and what we were spared. So yes, feel what you feel, know what you're going through, be clear on it, because you don't want to just run over it either. But don't linger there for too long. Or because for some persons you might need more time to really go through the story. I believe that you can talk to friends, just regular friends who do not have skill set or a certain type of specialized training, you can talk to them for a couple of hours or a few days. But I think if the problem persists, you need to go see a professional. You need to seek professional help. By day 3, day 4, by day 7, you should be looking to towards exploring solutions, even if that solution is therapy, even if that solution. And you know what? We need to become open, and not just open, but become, what should I say? Cultivate a culture of seeking professional help for the challenges you face. Make that a part of your investment in self. You know, there's some of us that go through things endlessly, just keep moving through life, bouncing here, bouncing there, one problem on top of another. The first one wasn't really healed properly because I didn't have the equipment, I didn't have the tools or the equipment or what are the techniques to deal with it. So I'm really just monkey barring from problem to problem to problem. Seek help. Cultivate a culture in your life, a help seeking culture in your life, and pass that on to your children. Teach your children not just to go tell friends their business, but to find professionals that you pay for them to keep your secrets, for them to be obligated to protect your data, your problems, your information. Like, I don't even know if we take this as seriously as it's supposed to. You just pick up, let me just talk to a friend. This friend, based on the fact that we're just loosely friends, you hope that you can trust them. But how much are you going to how much do you really want to divest to just a regular person, just a friend who has not signed any obligation for privacy, no NDAs for you, unless of course you're going to have all your friends in your network sign NDAs. That's an option too. Do not blow it up, and don't think because maybe you're not as wealthy as you think you might need to be to have an NDA. Anyone can have an NDA. We can have a verbal NDA. Hey, whatever we discuss for the life of our friendship is between us. Well, I tell persons around me, you have the right to tell your story based on your experiences with me, because what I don't let someone else regulate what I decide what I'm going to say. I'm the one who decides, you know what, this is a secret and I don't want anyone else to know, so I'm not telling anybody. Nobody. As a matter of fact, when I'm going through challenges, let me tell you how I feel about my quote-unquote problems or issues. I call them challenges. Because I understand that pain is profit, I don't just hand over my pain to anybody. I really don't, because my pain is too valuable. That's where my wealth is. My wealth is in my trauma. My wealth is in my problems. My wealth is in the challenges that I face. So I protect that. And I'm not just going to share that with just about anybody. I will go seek professional help where, when I'm done, I understand the problem and I understand how to leverage the problem. Yeah? So be mindful of that. Like, you try, what kind of friend are you? Well, tell me in the comment section, what kind of friend are you? Are you the kind of friend who everybody comes with their problem and you sit down and you listen to it? You also have to be careful about the weight that comes with problems. You know, when people come and dump that on you, you also have to be mindful of that too, you know. And also, this is how sometimes you can identify unique skills in yourself, where you may be somebody who's able to listen longer than I can. You know what I mean? That's a benefit. And also, sharing your or having a shoulder to cry on is a benefit of having a friend. So there are lots of opportunities here, but there are a lot of bonding opportunities, and also there are a lot of learning opportunities. But overall, know who your friends are and know who to go with the problem. Okay, and know who you can take it to for a day or 2 days or twice. You can talk about it twice. For me, it's 3 times. After 3 times, if I'm not going to be useful in helping you solve it, then I don't want to hear it anymore after 3 times. That I don't have the capacity. It's capacity. It's not, I have empathy, I have compassion, but you have to know your capacity. And I know I don't have the capacity, because by the 3rd time, after the 3rd time, it's now going to become my burden. And I don't want that. Not unless I'm intentionally deciding, let me help you carry this. And the only burden I will carry is a burden that's open for me to collaborate to fix it. Because I am not carrying a burden endlessly. We're not doing that, you know? And I also have to be cautious that one of the reasons I don't like to take it beyond 3 also is that I don't want your problem to become such a weight for me that I need to go tell it to somebody else, whether that's a professional or not, that I have to unload it elsewhere. No, I don't want to do that. So it's my boundary is also to protect the person who's coming to me. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid of having boundaries and sharing your boundaries and being clear on what your boundaries are. No matter what kind of relationship you have, you've got to preserve yourself too. All right. Awesome. So thank you, Candy, for that clip. Let's go to the next clip.
I don't believe nothing you can read, homie, about God. I don't believe nothing you can read about God. And you gonna tell me about God something you, me, or now mother talking have ever seen or spoke to? How you gonna tell me about God based on your personal comprehension? Everything that a preacher preaches, everything that a religious leader speaks out of his mouth is based on their own personal reading comprehension. I don't believe that a man is telling me about a God. Show me a Jesus. Show me a Muhammad. Show me a Gandhi. Show me a motherfucker that can't read but that can write a Quran. Show me a motherfucker that can raise the dead. Don't tell me about a motherfucker. Show me. My mama showed me. My mama showed me a God to hold on to. So nigga, if you can't show me what my mama showed me, nigga, if you can't love me unconditionally like my mother does according to how they say God love us, you can't tell me about no motherfucking God, mother. You can't love me unconditionally like you say God do, but my mother does. So whatever God that woman tell me about, that's the God I want. Cause she done showed me. The Hebrew niggas can't show us, my nigga.
Wow, that's Charleston White, and I thought this clip was so powerful. When it was there, I kept hearing the song by, I think her name is Lauren Elena, like my mother does. She's a rock, she is strong, she's an angel, she's my heart and soul. She does it all. Oh my gosh, you know, this is one of my areas of vulnerability. I have an undying desire for the love of my mother. That's the love I hunger for. And somehow I feel like it's the one thing I won't be able to get. First, she's not here. And I think even if she was here, I cannot ever recall a warm hug from my mother. And so as he was there talking, for him, it's his mother, but for me, it's my dad. It's my dad. And also for me, it's my childhood experience, because I felt like as a child, the challenges I went through, the only thing I had to hang on to was what I learned in Sabbath school and Sunday school. And I think that's where my fantasies began. And also from the movies that I fell in love with, because I started romanticizing family, and I thought, yes, one day I'm going to have my own family. And fantasies, oh my God. Yeah, but my father had this unquenchable thirst for Bible. That man read the Bible until he could repeat the words. Like he would just repeat the chapters just off the top of his head, you know. Like at one point in time, I remember my dad read the Bible so many times that he started reading it backwards. Oh my gosh. It was just this, you know, he just read it a lot. And growing up as a child, one of the things I did, because I didn't really have family, and there were just so many things going on because of how I grew up, you know, partially abandoned, partially neglected kind of thing. I grew up kind of alone, and so I went to church and I participated in everything. I mean, I was a part of every Bible quiz. I remember I came second. I don't know if I think for that one it was the Pentecostal church that I used to go to, and all the churches with all the the branches within that particular church, we would compete together. And I remember I came in second, but I had to study the Bible and the Bible stories to participate in the quizzes, because that was how I spent my time. I was so in love with church. But anyway, I would fall out of love with it. When I was about 16, I remember I became homeless, and I didn't want to leave the church, and my father did not know what to do, and he was just at wit's end, and he's like, you have nowhere to live. And I remember we went to the pastor and his wife trying to find out if we could get somewhere to live, and there was no room for me and stuff like that. And it kind of broke. That was kind of where the beginning of my broken heart with church started. And then that was when I was going to Sunday church. When I was much younger, I grew up in Seventh-day Adventist church, and then after the disappointment with the Sunday church, I started going now to this. I went back to. Well, I started going to Northern Caribbean University, and then I went back into the Seventh-day Adventist church and stuff like that. But something in me broke. Something in me kind of died, and I think I was about 33 years old when I decided, you know what? I want nothing to do with church. I remember. Listen, you have to be careful what you say to God, you know. You have to be careful what you say in this universe. I remember one day I said to God, I said, who, me? I wouldn't. Let me tell you how I got to there. I had this charity that I was running, and God would have God would have it that I had a partner. We were doing some charitable projects. You know, we have persons abroad who would come out to do projects here. And when he said he was going to this particular place, I knew the place because I used to go to church there, but I didn't know which church he was going to. So I was like excited, like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's where my mother used to live or whatever. So we're going there and whatever. And I remember when we get there, where did we land? We walked onto the yard of the church where I was seeking accommodation. And I didn't know I was going to tell this story, to be honest with you. And if I had thought about it, I would have not done it, you know. But I remember when we walked onto the property, I said to my business partner I don't think I said it to him right away. I was like, this is where we're coming? He's like, yes. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is where I used to be the vice superintendent of Sunday school. I used to, like, I'm telling you, I was like, this was my life, okay? Because I was trying to escape life. So I dove into church. Church was my everything, you know? And I remember he said, oh yeah, this is where we're coming. We want to what do they call it when you rehabilitate a house? And I remember they started walking through the house on the property. And I guess I was extra quiet. And I remember he was like, what, dear, what's wrong? What's going on? You know? And I remember saying to him, this is the house that we are thinking to raise money to refurbish, to reestablish, to rebuild. This is the house. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, because who, me? And they did not give me any room at the inn? You must be crazy. And I remember we walked through the entire house, and that was the first time I saw inside the house. And I'm going to tell you what the pastor, the husband, it was both the husband and the wife that was there. And at the time I was mad at them, but I'm not anymore, because I don't know why they felt the way they did. But I remember when my father came and he's like, I don't know what to do with her, because she doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to leave, and she has nowhere to live. Do you have like a spare room or anything? I'll pay the rent, whatever. She just does not want to leave. And I'm there bawling because I don't want to, because where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? You know? Anyway, as we started walking through the house, I don't remember how many things, but this was what they told us at the time. I'll never forget. I think it was a wife that responded, and she told my dad that they're the headquarters, and based on my memory, and that they are not able to, they don't have any room, because every year for 2 weeks they host a convention there, and that's where the people stayed. And I remember my father, when we left, my father's like, you see, no, this is where you're killing yourself to be. 2 weeks out of the year they have guests, and you are here all the other weeks out of the year, and they don't care. That's what he felt at the time. For me, I just didn't want to leave. I wasn't processing all of that at the time until later on, when I started feeling like, man, like all that time that I dedicated, like they just didn't care what happened to me. But I mean, I ended up staying with another sister, and that was a whole other thing. But anyway, I'm very, very thankful. But that day when we went there and we were walking through the house, I was sitting there thinking, dear God, this must be a joke. This must be a joke. And I think we ended up changing the project. I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know if it's because I was so uncomfortable, because I think if I remember correctly, I think when I said to my partner, I told my, after, he thought I was so silent or whatever, and I think I told him what happened, and he's like, what, we're not doing it, come, let's go. We're not doing it. I think that's what happened, but I don't fully remember, to be honest with you. I don't fully recall if that's what happened, but I think that's what happened, because it was really bothering me, and I think I was actually saying to him that I don't even think I can stay inside this house. Like, it was just too much for me, because when I started realizing it has a lot of rooms, I think it had like about 1 or 2 bathrooms. It didn't have a lot of bathrooms, and I thought maybe could that be the reason? But it did have rooms. But they know what they were faced with. I don't know. Not that I've grown and I really look back at it. They know what they were faced with. I don't know. But I'm telling you, as a child, I was really, really hurt, because for me, I felt like I couldn't leave this. Looking back, I realized that for me, the church was more than just my consistency. It was life for me, because the rest of my life was so miserable. That I felt like, here I feel like I have something, I belong somewhere. And then I think what it was, I felt like I did not belong anywhere. But I think eventually we didn't do the house, but we ended up doing, I think it was a garden. Yes, we did a garden for the church. Yeah, because I had told him that I was not going to be participating. I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to do it at that time, so yeah. And I remember, this is what I was going to say. I remember, I think I was about 33, yes. And I said to God, I will never, ever, ever. And I think it was around that time. I said, I would never work for a church again. Ever, 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 ever. I'll tell you something. I think it was 2016 I made that statement. And I'm telling you, that was the year my life turned upside down. Yep. My life turned upside down, and I lost everything that I had. I don't know if it's connected or not, but I'm just telling you what happened to me, okay? I can't tell you everything, because the story is it's a lot, but I remember when I made that statement, I'm like, oh, I would never, right now, right? 2, 3, 4. A couple of my clients are actually faith-based, and I actually some of them, I can't count right now in my hand, but quite a couple of them. Yeah, but anyway, and at least 3, I think it's 3 or 4 are churches. But this is the thing about it, and I will not lie to you. I have a variety of clients, right? Different people, different organizations, different backgrounds. And I do consulting sometimes, and my consultations they come with the best price tags. But there is something that happens to me when it comes to the churches. I don't know what it is. There is an obligation that I feel. It's almost as I end up prioritizing them, but they pay me the least. But I always end up prioritizing them. There's always this fear. I don't know where it comes from. Like, there's this thing inside of me that almost makes me feel like if I ever dare put anything over them, there will be problems. It's just a feeling. But I'm just saying all of that to say, look where I work now. And for some reason, I just have more joy when I do things for them, because I feel like I get to produce quality work for God. And what I do realize God does for me, though, God provides for me. Like, I'm a favorite. I'm favored. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that to say, be careful what you say. Be careful what you say, because God's gonna have His way. Okay. So that is that story for today. What are your experiences? So we're gonna go on to another clip. This is a clip that I wanted to. Let me see if I can go back. This clip I thought was very, very important. All right, let's go.
If you were black and you were a state trooper, it was acceptable, but the rule was you had to act white. That was the standard. Act
Did you hear what he said? Act white.
white. So we had, I'll name him, Trooper Gary Smith, one of the best troopers you'll ever meet, squared away guy, love to have him back me up. Theo Chantlin, same thing. But they fit the act white profile according to the white troop and the white chain of command. And then you switch to Trooper Chris Hill. And I'm sorry, Chris, if you're listening, I'm throwing you under the bus. But Chris Hill came out of the academy, but he didn't dress. He was raised in New Orleans, and he dressed in a way that was consistent with his style. Baggy black shirt, gold chain, and basically regular size fitting pants. You know, and I know that I tell you, people here hate when your pants are around your ass and you're showing your underwear. He didn't do that. He wasn't that, you know, but he didn't dress in skin tight Wranglers like the lieutenant who was criticizing him for it. And because they saw him off duty dressed like that at a state police area, and I looked at the guy, and like I said, he's a sharp looking guy, squared away, great trooper, joined the SWAT team. I trained him on this to be a SWAT operator, and trusted this man to go into a house with me, and I got to go left. And if there's a guy shooting at me from the right, I want to shoot him, but I can't. I got to clear this corner. But I know Chris Hill's behind me, and he's going to button hook, and he's going to take out that threat that's shooting me in the back. But I got to check here before I can swing around. And I trusted that man with my life. And they had a meeting because of the way he was dressed. And the sergeant came out of the captain's office, and he said, "Hey, got word from the captain. Run that N-word off," because he failed to act well. He didn't dress well.
Wow. And I think this clip for me is also another emotional thing, because where do I begin? Act white. I feel like I've been told to act white since I was a child, even though at the time I didn't know that's what was happening to me. But there is this, I will call it, I'm not going to call it a main culture, because it isn't. It may be accepted as the main thing, but the European culture is not a main culture. I don't think there is a main culture in life. It's just that some cultures we disrespect and just not give them the honor of recognizing and acknowledging them, right? But I feel like ever since I've been a child, I've been expected to act white. It's like it's the standard, and then we criticize people, we marginalize people, we ostracize. Listen to what happened to the man. And then what I never understand is with my people is that we keep saying racism, but we don't act like it's happening. Then we just run around and we have no loyalty to our own people. We don't even secure economic futures for our own race. But we're out here, I just never understand it. I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything. I recently had someone say to me, I made a comment, and the person said, aren't you racist? And aren't we all equal? Because he was saying, so aren't rich black men free to make their own choice? To be honest with you, I think I lost some respect for you when you said that. I just feel like a black man should be thinking of a black family. I'm just going to say it. That's just how I feel. But the truth of the matter is, when he said that, he was so wrong, because on my post I said, love who you love and leave the rest of us alone. As a matter of fact, I say that a lot on my channel, on my platform. And if you really, really, truly are following me, don't just jump off on the first part that triggered you. Read the entire thing. If you really follow me, then really check to see what I'm about, and not just run off with a headline or a part of a post that I made. You know what I mean? And I say this with respect, because this is somebody I respect, really, you know? But I'm really like, I've got to see you for who you are. And listen to what this man said. But why shouldn't they? Because guess what happened, right? We have adopted that belief too. I remember when I worked in an office or whatever and I had to go to work, I was so frustrated because I felt like I was not dressing for the temperature I lived in. I wasn't dressing for the culture I lived in. I wasn't dressing in the interest of the locale where I was. You have to put on, let me tell you something. So when I see especially men dressed like black men dressed in suit and tie and whatever, honest to God, they just look so uncomfortable. They look trapped. Who can you fight? What kind of war can you go to? If something is happening, you can't even move because you're in this suit. That's not your, is it even your natural go-to? Or are we just doing it because we need to act white? I remember I couldn't even, I don't know what happened to me, but there came a time where it's like I had to cover my hair. I had this thing where I need my hair covered. Even now, I still cover my hair. It's like this thing where I don't feel myself until I tie my hair, I cover my hair. And whenever I did it to go to work because it was really, I don't know what was happening to me because I've had processed hair before. I had all these things. Yeah. And it wasn't even my choice. I've always preferred my natural hair. For some reason, I just love moving my hand through my hair and I love to feel what it feels like, you know? And I remember I decided I'm not putting any relaxer in my hair anymore. And I remember I was going through this phase where tying my hair meant something to me. It was, I wasn't even clear on what it was yet. So I really didn't go to like my HR and say, hey, I feel like I'm going through a religious, because it wasn't religious or anything. It was just finding myself. It was just something different that was happening to me. And I remember when I tied my hair, they're like, no, you can't tie your hair to come here. Why not? Why can't I tie my hair to go to work? I'm here to work. I'm not here to model. I'm not here for you to look. When will we break these shackles? When will we just be? Can I tell you, it's a challenge for me to listen to anyone who is talking to me about God and is dressed a certain way. I can't even hear you. You need to look like yourself. It's like what the guy said before. Don't tell me about a God that loves you. Show me a God that loves you. If you love God so much, why can't you represent the natural state in which He made you? And I'm not saying that you can't wear something. I don't even know how ladies do wig. And I'm not mad at you for your wig. If that's how, listen, love who you love what you love, and leave the rest of us alone. I'm just telling you, I don't get it. And you can't sell me insurance in a wig. You can't sell me anything not being yourself. Because why would I trust you? Why ever would I trust you to tell me about God when you have a wig on your head? I can even understand braids. I can understand something that's plaiting. I can understand your lipstick. But honestly, for me, like, I feel like if I'm coming to you to talk about the God that I know, I don't want to tell you Bible. I want to demonstrate to you. I want to tell you through my testimonies. It's testimonies I want. Tell me your testimonies and I will figure out if God is in it. Listen, when will we stop acting white since we claim racism? Since we say racism, well, when will you shed the racism that you speak about so you can advocate for the changes to happen on the outside of you? We want it to happen in the offices. We want other people to accept us, but we haven't even accepted ourselves. Are you really, really sitting there telling me that in your most natural state, you are comfortable and you represent God to the best of your capacity and you love it? Because it is very difficult for you to convince me of a God when you hate the way He made you. That's just how I feel about it. I am sick and tired of having to act white. And the act white is so in us sometimes, like even the way I'm speaking right now, I've been robbed of my culture, my authenticity, my identity. I don't even know who I am. And oh my gosh, I got some disappointing news. I started the process on Ancestry.com I wanted to do my DNA test because I'm trying to learn who I am. And it never came, and so I had to cancel it and everything. I know I have to be going back over because I really, really want to know who I am. So I'm going to have to find another service to do it. But I really, really want to do my DNA test because I want to know who I am. because I don't know who I am. And I understand that to an extent, there's some of us who are still, we grew up in their culture, in the white culture, and it became a part of us, right? But you know, when for me, it's worse when we sit on the heights of this white culture, looking at people in their culture and in the very culture that we come from. Like, there's some Jamaicans who have migrated, and when they see their fellow Jamaicans back at home, or even those around them who they feel are beneath them or not as astute as they are, the criticisms. Child, stop it. You've been robbed of your culture, and we are okay with it. Are we really truly abhorred? Is that it? No. Are we really truly what's the word I'm searching for? Are we really truly not accepting of racism? Are we really, do we abhor racism? Are we really truly just disgusted by it? And don't just say yes, think about it, because if you are, then shed it first before you ask for it to end. You shed it from your wardrobe, shed it from your mindset, shed it from your language, shed it first before you go out there and ask institutions and organizations and other people to shed for you to feel comfortable. If racism is such a horrible thing, I dare you to begin to shed it at home. Shed it from your person. Shed it. Stop acting white. Stop talking white. Stop dressing white. Stop mimicking. Stop covering your authentic self. Shed it. If racism is such a terrible thing, I dare you to shed it and start walking in your real culture, wearing your real cultural adornment. And I dare you to confront the religion, the belief systems that you have that are still under the shackles of this racism that you abhor. I dare you to check yourself. Check your religion, check your biases, your prejudice, check it. And after you yourself have shed the racism that has taken a hold of you, then you can come out into the world and ask other persons to end racism. We've got to be honest and walk in some truth here. We need to face truth. Too many lies. Too many lies. I want to end this section with a final clip, and then I'm going to share something with you. Oh, this one. Oh my gosh, there's so many good clips here. Shed it, man. And this is perfect after that.
Back to Africa.
Oh, hang on. You didn't hear. All right, go.
Go back to Africa. Say less.
All right, folks, you asked and you shall receive. So
let's
fucking make this shit happen.
Make it happen.
Started a Give Send Go campaign to send my black ass back to Africa. The goal is to raise $30K by August 12th. Because tickets are expensive, visas are very complicated. I'm black, inept, broke, and I need help from you good white people. Please. Don't just waste your time and energy writing angry comments in my comment section. Actually do something about it.
Do something about it.
You can actually make a difference. Every dollar that you donate gets me one step closer to disappearing from your perfect America.
Fund it.
Far, far away from you and your
fund the solution.
So help me leave for good. It's a win-win for everyone.
And here's a final clip. Fund it. Fund it.
You have to respect yourself enough to self-correct. A lot of us are doing things, engaging in activities, being around a certain crowd or people that's not serving us. But because we don't want to be the one that stands out, we don't want to be embarrassed, We want to feel like we are a part of something. We sit in a crowd that is not aligned with us. Quite
And I want to say
frankly,
this. I want to share this. You see, even with that whole racism thing that we so want to get rid of, do we want to get rid of racism, or do we want to get rid of the aspects of racism that makes us uncomfortable? The parts of it that we don't align with, the parts of it that we don't like, the parts of it that are unpleasant. Are we truly against racism, or just the parts of it that we do not like, the parts of it that does not serve us personally? You see? Some of us cannot change because of the way we treated others who were different from us. Others who did not surrender to the pressure. Others who did not surrender to the requirements for change. Others who decided, I'm going to remain authentic. We have been so horrible to our own that some of us can't find repentance from racism, because we're going to have to face all the comments we made, all the marginalizing that we did, all the shame we placed on them. Some of us find it so hard, but I still say change if you need to, if it works for you, because you can't do it for me. This is something you have to do for yourself, for your generations. You're really going to be raising a generation of wig-wearing people? That's your legacy? I'm not judging, I'm just saying. This is not a criticism. I'm just asking. On that note, let me go to the next part of what I want to share. We have to face the truth of what is happening, or we will forever live. We will deliver a legacy of lies. We have to face the truth of it head on. See it for what it is. See it for what it is. And many of us, we find it hard to change because we know how we have felt about people who didn't change or who didn't adapt to the enslaved mentality, and we know how we handled them, and we're also afraid they may treat us the same way, or others may treat us the same way. Just as you looked at somebody in their natural hair and tell them they weren't beautiful, for you to take that wig off, you're now concerned that they may tell you you're not beautiful. But because I know I self-manage, and I don't care what state I'm in, and I don't care what I've done or said, I'm not afraid of shame. I made my peace with shame. I made my peace with shame. Now, here are 10 key reasons criticism can be a form of oppression, especially when used abusively or systemically. Remember what they said about Chris? And because they didn't like his dress code? Okay. Some of us, my skin tone, my people, do that to our people. And I see it happen a lot with persons who have migrated, and when they go back home, they criticize everything the people do. Oh, they're so barbaric. Oh, they have no discipline. Oh, they have no this. What is discipline? What is that? Because if anything that did not come out of my mother's womb with me is something we adapt, which means it's not a necessity, and it's not of God or nature. So yes, you can say, people, let's have discipline to get along, but to use it to mock, to criticize, to belittle. That's all I'm saying. Now, number one, so the 10 key reasons criticism can be a form of oppression. One, it reinforces power imbalances. Criticism, when coming from a dominant group or authority figure, can be used to silence or control marginalized voices, reinforcing inequality rather than encouraging growth. Number two, it polices identity and expression. Criticism often targets how people dress, speak, or behave, especially when they don't conform to dominant dominant cultural norms, thereby suppressing individuality and cultural identity. Number 3, it destroys confidence, not just behavior. Oppressive criticism focuses on personal worth rather than specific actions, leaving individuals feeling ashamed, inadequate, or invisible rather than empowered to improve. Number 4, it becomes a weapon, not a tool. When criticism is constant, harsh, or unfair, it turns into psychological warfare, used to break someone's spirit rather than build their skills or awareness. 5, it invalidates lived experiences. Critics often dismiss or undermine personal truths, especially from women, children, LGBTQ plus individuals, or people of color, by labeling them as too emotional or overreacting. Number 6, it silences growth and creativity. Fear of being criticized shuts down curiosity, exploration, and innovation, especially in communities already fighting to be heard or seen. Number 7, it normalizes verbal abuse. When society excuses harsh, demeaning language as constructive criticism, it blurs the line between feedback and emotional abuse, especially in families, schools, and workplaces. Number 8, it provides perfectionism and shame. It promotes perfectionism and shame. Oppressive criticism pressures people to hide flaws, pretend, or self-hate rather than accept mistakes as part of the human and healing journey. Number 9, it enforces social control through fear. In some systems, schools, churches, relationships, criticism is used to instill fear, obedience, and conformity rather than to uplift, inspire, and educate. Number 10 and last, it targets the person, not the problem. Oppression disguised as criticism often shifts blame to the individual. You're the problem, instead of addressing broken systems, harmful cultures, or unjust conditions. When criticism becomes oppression. They say, and this is a spoken word. They say it's just feedback. But we know better than that. Because when a tongue gets slick, it can slice deeper than any blade. Let me tell you something. When the powerful speak and the powerless shrink, that ain't critique, it's control. It's the mic being stolen from the ones who need it the most. When your tone gets policed, your hair called too much, your slang called unprofessional, that ain't help. That's cultural erasure dressed in a tie. Confidence gets killed slow. Why do you do it that way at a time? Criticism that don't care who you are isn't love. It's a chokehold. You ever been talked at, not talked to? That ain't correction. That's humiliation in disguise, especially when they smile while doing it. They tell us you're too emotional when we're finally brave enough to speak truth. They gaslight pain and rebrand it character building. Ever seen a child stop dancing because someone laughed? That's criticism killing creativity. Oppression doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, you're not enough. They call it tough love. We call it trauma. Verbal abuse wearing a suit still hurts like it came from a street corner. Perfection becomes a cage. Flaws become sins. And suddenly your whole life is an apology for not being polished. Criticism. That happened to my dad. I'm going to tell you so. Anyway, let me do this first. Criticism ain't always honest. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's power flexing, like it owns your voice. And the worst part, they never touch the system. Just blame the soul. Point the finger at the broken instead of the breaker. So next time you call it feedback, ask yourself this: is it freedom or is it a muzzle? Because when the truth cuts deep, don't blame the wound. Don't blame the wound, because when the truth cuts deep, don't blame the wound on the one who bleeds. My dad used to do this thing that I didn't understand. Like when we're out in the public, to me, he was behaving like a madman. And I remember he'd talk funny, and I'm like, why is my dad talking like that? Like, that's not how we talk at home. Like when we're back, when he and I are together, when we go to the gully, to the farm, or whatever, that's not how he talks. And then I later realized that my dad did that to protect me. He behaved like he was crazy, so nobody would think to go where I was, because most of the times I was there, but I was by myself. So he had little things that he did, and it was his way of creating security, because they became so scared of him, and because he was a Rasta or whatever, they were scared that he did certain things or whatever. But I know that all my dad did was read. But I got to understand it later. But it is important for us to have you ever asked yourself, where does criticism come from? Why do people do it? Why do you sometimes do it even when you don't want to? Let's unpack it together. Criticism at its roots comes from within and around us, from psychology to culture to survival instincts. It's more than just feedback. Number one, it's insecurity and ego defense. Research shows that people who criticize when their own self-worth feels threatened. Research shows that people often criticize when their own self-worth feels threatened. According to psychologist Roy Baumeister, those who with fragile self-esteem are more likely to lash out with judgment or critique, especially when they feel exposed or challenged. So sometimes criticism ain't about you. It's their mirror, not your mistake. Number two, learned behavior. We grow up in homes, schools, and churches where criticism is normal. It's taught as discipline. But let's be real. What it really teaches is fear, perfectionism, and silence. We learn to criticize because someone once did it to us. Number three, cultural conditioning. Some cultures enforce obedience through harsh correction. Others say, don't speak unless spoken to. In these environments, criticism is control, not connection. According to Hofstede's cultural research, high-power societies often use criticism to maintain hierarchy, not build harmony. And number four, evolutionary roots. Back in the day, way back, criticism served a purpose: keep the tribe safe. If someone acted out, they'd be called out to protect the group. You see that thing where they said, oh, I have to call you out? What is that? You should rethink it. But today, criticism can become a weapon, used not to protect, but to shame. What once helped us survive now sometimes stops us from thriving. Childhood and attachment. Children raised around constant criticism may internalize it as normal. They become adults who either fear criticism or dish it out before anyone can hurt them. According to attachment theory, criticism is often a coping mechanism for people trying to feel in control. It's not always about judgment. Sometimes it's about fear. And number six, social media and clout culture. Let's talk about the internet. Studies show that negative content spreads faster than positive content. In today's world, people criticize publicly to go viral, to feel morally superior, or simply to feel seen. In a world where clicks equal currency, criticism becomes a clout-chasing tool. So where does criticism come from? From pain, from power, from protection, from the pressure to be perfect. But here's the thing. You don't have to pass it on. You can unlearn the need to tear others down. You can speak truth without trauma. You can offer correction that heals, not harms. And I always say this, right? Well, criticism doesn't have to be a cage, it can be a choice. And I also say this: do not criticize those whom you don't celebrate. As a matter of fact, I'm not saying you shouldn't correct people, but I would think twice before. And let me change that. I'm not telling you what to do. So I try not to criticize those who I don't celebrate. And I live by this: if I don't celebrate you, it's not my place to correct you. But that's just me. This is not true. This is not my indirect way of disrespecting anyone or trying to call anyone out or anything like that. Again, this is a space for empowerment where we can both learn, and so we can become better for ourselves and each other. All right. So those are the 10 reasons criticism can become oppression, and also be sharing it with you. Where does criticism come from? Now that we have completed this segment, we are going to go on to the next segment. I love to open new packages. There will be the latest information on top funding opportunities for entrepreneurs who are seeking funding. Come along with me. I'm Coach Racquel, and this is a passion project for me, so I am so happy to bring this to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching.
Unlock your potential every Thursday with our podcast, Refresh, Relax, Renew. Join Coach Racquel as she guides you through personal development journeys. Each episode focuses on actionable steps to enhance your personal journey. The podcast features 3 main segments to keep you engaged. We start with discussions on trending topics relevant to your growth. Then we unbox solutions to common challenges we face daily. Finally, stay updated with fresh funding opportunities each week. Tune in every Thursday for new episodes, and see you there.